Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast, where today my guest is Kyle MENDES. Kyle is the lead vocalist and bassist for Velvet Grave, a grungy three-piece hard rock metal band out of the Bay Area of California. And we're gonna talk about the description, of course. I don't know if grungy three-piece hard rock metal band is it, but we're gonna talk about that. Kyle and Velvet Grave have a 5-song EP out there with a single called Higher Ground. It is now part of a great compilation called Burnt Offerings Volume 1 from their label, Valley of Fire Records. A lot of guys from the Valley of Fire Records here on the show previously, so we love that label. We're going to find out more about the compilation disc, Velvet Grave, and what the band might have planned for the future. Kyle, it's great to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, dude. It's fun.
It was way cool, man. Way cool. I love what you're doing. This Velvet Grave stuff. I hear it, and I hear tons of Alice in Chains. I hear 90s grunge, but in a fresh kind of style. So grungy three-piece hard rock metal band. What do you think about that? Is that good with you?
That's good with me. I mean, Joe and Jake aren't here to chime in, but I know. I mean, this is very much Joe's band, and I know Jake and I are like super happy to be a part of it. But we're trying to avoid the metal trap, as it were. Like metal. I mean, I love metal. I grew up playing metal. I was in metal bands, but there's just so much of it, and we're trying to distance ourselves from that, which hopefully we're succeeding. But between you and me, like, that label's fine. So
yeah, cool. And I mean, it's nostalgic, but not in a cliche corny way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of my favorite bands are those 90s bands.
Totally.
They're just great bands, and you guys really hone in on that and really take it to the next level and bring it into the future. It's cool.
It was pretty funny. In April, we went down to LA and we played the Viper Room. And the guy who booked the show came up to us afterwards, and I mean, completely without irony, and this happens to us pretty much after every show. But he was like, "I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but you guys really sound like Alice in Chains." Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I knew that you have to get that. I mean, it is very, very clear. But when you're writing, is that something that you're really conscious of? Have you ever been writing and putting something together and went, maybe this is a little too much, or we need to sound a little bit distant from the Alice in Chains thing to make it our own? How do you balance that with sounding like them and also being Velvet Grave?
For sure. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. At my last job, Joe, Jake, and I were all coworkers. We worked together, which is pretty cool. At my last job, I have to back up a little bit more. I also really love outlaw country. So I play a lot of acoustic stuff too, and I have a folk project with my girlfriend that's really fun. But I wrote this song when I was in my late 20s, and also, I'll be honest, I'm so into death metal, I really had never listened to Alice in Chains. And so I wrote the song and I recorded it just kind of on my phone, and I showed my manager at the time, and she was like, "Jesus Christ, this sounds a lot like Alice in Chains." And I remember saying to her, "Who the fuck is Alice in Chains?" It is. So it might just be the stars have kind of aligned in this way, because Joe loves AIC so much, and of course, I've listened to the catalog at this point, and so I'm definitely trying to do right by Lane. And yeah, I think it's just kind of happening, and it's not something that we necessarily aim for, but it's kind of something that results of
yeah, and that, I think that comes through because it sounds natural, it sounds organic. It doesn't sound processed or over don't try too hard at it. That's for sure. It's very very natural sounding.
Yeah,
Which is, and you're the vocalist, so not knowing Alice in Chains before that, it's really wild how similar it is.
right.
It's
Yeah,
really cool, man. Really
yeah.
cool.
Organic, and we're not trying to sound like Alice in Chains. I think I can speak for Joe and Jake here that like we really want to make songs that are important to us and we enjoy hearing and really enjoy playing. And I definitely have so much fun with those two guys. Like it's an absolute blast. So um,
That's great to hear, man.
yeah, as long as that's happening, I'm good. Like I don't need to sound like anybody or sound like anything. I just as long as I'm having fun.
Yeah, and that's, and that comes through in the music for, at least myself, and I know other fans, when we hear that enjoyment from what you do, and it's not pressured and it's not,
Yeah,
forced, there's a natural coolness and vibe to it that, is inviting to listen to for sure.
awesome. I appreciate that. It's good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, it sounds really great. When you write, do you guys all work together? So, do you come together in the same room, hash things out, write together, rehearse together, play to, form these songs together? How's the writing process work? You guys are so close in proximity, as well as,
Yeah.
a brotherhood, it seems. Um, how does the writing process work for you guys?
So I mean, I'm not trying to like toot our own horns or anything, but we pick up things pretty quick. And Joe has a really amazing mind for composition, and so he'll either send out like a very like a blueprint for a song or like a sketch of a song, and then I'm just kind of like scribbling in my notebook and trying to figure out vocal patterns. And Jake is just an absolute monster. Like he's really like a really heavy jazz drummer, and so I think we come together and we jam bits and pieces, and then slowly but surely, like the songs come together.
Yeah.
Um, so like we're trying to write. We have so many irons in the fire right now, trying to write songs, and it's it's just happening. You know, we all like retreat to our corners and we do our part, and then we come together, and everything kind of like gets forged into a new Velvet Grave song, and that's always really fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's cool. And you do it all in the same room, right? I mean, it's not remote or anything.
yeah, like when it comes time to like put the pieces together, we're at Joe's house, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's fun.
That's, it's, I'm old school and I know I'm an old guy, but there there is something about the magic that happens in the same room, man.
Agreed. Yeah,
You can see look in somebody's eyes and the body language and all of that. I think it really, and acoustically, sonically, you're hearing different things when you're in the same room. It's there's a magic, a lightning in a bottle kind of thing that happens, I think.
agreed for sure.
It's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. Influences, man. You got a seasoned jazz type heavy drummer,
hmm
death metal and outlaw country for you. I know Joe played in a bluegrass band, right? Before Velvet Grave.
I
Um,
did. I don't
oh,
think Joe's ever.
you did.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of stuff. Influences, not just Alice in Chains and that 90s thing. There's a lot of different influences here. Does that work its way into the music? Because I know you're very conscious, you don't want to be labeled metal because this is such a cesspool. Um, but when you have those different kinds of influences in the players, do you feel it coming into the Velvet Grave, and do you welcome it?
Sure. I mean, like on the EP, there's a song called "Nowhere to Hide," and I wrote the riffs to that song, and then Joe arranged it. But even one of Joe's guitar students, when he heard the song, he was like, "Did Kyle write this riff?" Because it's like obviously just very metal. Um, but like there's certain things that can work. There's certain things that are kind of over the top, and so we have to temper. And I mean, maybe it's the the fact of being a trio. Like, we're a very chill band. Like, we get along really well, and if there's really no disagreement actually, but like, we just, when we're writing or when we're jamming, like, conversation is very fluid and very easy. So whatever influences come and whatever conversation follows, it's fine. Like, we're just making it work, and Joe has a very clear vision for the sound. So yeah, it all works. Like, if something's too much, then we lessen. If something's too little, we heighten. Like, it all just balances out, which is great.
It is great, man, and it's like very unusual. I mean, usually there's some kind of hump in the
Friction, yeah.
road,
There's always something with bands. Being in a band is hard. It's really hard usually.
Definitely, definitely. Well, there's relationships outside of the band that
Exactly.
interfere with
Yeah.
the band, and jobs and things like that where not everybody's available, or whatever the case might be. It is, it's a marriage of sort. It's great.
Relationship. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. It's a
You're
great,
playing
and
music. Yeah.
everybody's got a different idea too. It's and that can be great and that can be not great, depending how the band handles it. And you guys seem to really handle things really well. It's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
Um, have you thought about, you guys are a trio,
Mhm.
that presents some things, some limitations, and
Mhm.
do you ever feel limited by being a trio? Have you ever thought about a fourth member?
I think Joe and I talked about it really early on. I mean, and it was like a passing thought. But to be perfectly honest, I don't want that at all. I think the dynamic we have is pretty perfect. And Joe's really a master of like soundscape. So with his rig, he can pretty much do anything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he has this like gargantuan pedal board, and I just look at this thing like, God, I wouldn't even know how to touch it. But things that he can pull off live, and I mean, even more so in the studio, are really remarkable. So I think we're solid. I don't think we need to do that.
It sounds solid, that's for sure. Yeah, and it's cool. The only thing I think of is like, like a rhythm guitar part with a solo over it or something like that
Sure.
is, you can do it in the studio, but doing it live is a different thing. Would you consider bringing on like a rhythm guitar player when you play live? Is that something you do?
It's we've never done it, and that would be a question for Joe.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily like for or against anything. I'm a very open person, but that would be a question for him
Yeah.
because he's the visionary here. So
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And that's, I love hearing that too. There's that, and that's why it works for yourself. I think that's a lot of the reason. Joe's the guy. And you're okay with that. And
yeah, 100%.
that's you've got a leader, you're happy with that, and you trust him to do the right things. Again, that's something that not every band has. Not everybody wants to give up anything, so to speak. It's just so good to hear stuff like that. It's really
Totally.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in all my previous bands, I was definitely the one showing up and being like, "This is what you play. This is what you play. This is what you play. This is what you sing," and it can be kind of exhausting. Like, to go back to the bluegrass band, we were a 5 piece, and we were all, in our late 20s and kind of messes in our own way, and it was a lot to navigate. Unfortunately, COVID killed that band, but it was so fun. It was like prog bluegrass, dude. It was wild.
Wow.
Like, it was really fun, but it was a lot. And so now, like, I have my responsibilities in Velvet Grave, and um, Joe, like, kind of, has the final stamp of approval, which feels so good because I really trust his judgment.
Yeah,
And yeah, he's an incredible guitar player. So
yeah, man.
yeah, it's
It's
fun.
that's great. I love that, man. That's cool. We're gonna see more original music from Velvet Grave. That is an assumption that I think is safe. um, uh, how do you see yourself releasing new material? You put out an EP last time, 5 songs, right?
Yeah.
you are you I mean, that's kind of, we're in a singles world, and I'm not against that, even though I'm old school and I love that journey of a full length record.
Me too.
um I like the idea that every song gets heard. um
Right.
so what are your plans for original music and releasing music?
So we actually yesterday got the mixes for two singles that we're going to plan to release over the course of the summer.
Cool.
And holy shit, prepare yourself, dude. They sound
Yeah.
so good.
I love it, man. I love it.
So we're going to do that. And we have pretty much like the bones of an album. And our goal is to have that ready by 2026. And I have no doubts that we'll be able to accomplish it. It's just in the works. But so we'll do the singles, and then hopefully by the end of the year we can be in the studio. We recorded the singles with a different person than we did the EP, and so we're kind of discussing like which route we're going to go, and we have a few different options as to how we can like record the tracks and who's going to mix it, like where do we do it, how do we do it. So there's a lot of questions, but again, I think we're pretty patient people, and things in Velvet Grave move at their own pace. So it's going to happen. It's just a question of how, where, and when.
Uh,
But it's going to. So,
yeah, that's cool. And I know you got Joe. I've heard Joe say that he records. He hasn't really been in a studio. He uses his own studio. It's what you guys. So that's maybe going to change a little bit. Is that possible?
we recorded all just mostly because of scheduling concerns. We recorded all the raw tracks at Joe's house,
Hmm.
and then we sent them to his guy in Santa Cruz, and he mixed it. And that guy's an absolute wizard. But for these two singles that will be released this summer, we went to a studio in Antioch and recorded with this really nice guy. And it was really easy. It was 2 days. We knocked out two tracked songs, and then we did a live version of one of the songs off the EP. And it was really mellow, really chill, and the songs sound great. But we're trying to do like a 10-song album, and just how we're going to do, again, like how, where, and when. We're just trying to figure that out. But it is going to happen, and it's really exciting. Yeah.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, look, and again, I'm old school. I love
I'm right there
that.
with you, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love that. That all the sequencing and everything and how the songs work together. It's
Yeah. Song order is so important. I mean, like, my favorite band ever is In Flames.
okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah. And I consider like Colony and Clayman to be like one thing, like albums separated by a year. But if you just listen to those albums back to back, like it's just perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I miss those days, but
yeah, yeah,
unfortunately, gone. Yeah.
yeah. And there's some bands still doing it, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. Okay, you got a video for Higher Ground. Great song. It's on the compilation. Tell me
Mhm.
a little bit about the compilation. I've had some of the Eric and the Corvus Lore guys and JJ on. And they're great guys. It's a great label. So many bands on that label.
Totally.
Um, yeah, and you guys are the lead track on that compilation, I think, which is really cool. It's just such a great song. Yeah, tell me about a little bit about the compilation, how that all that came together.
So the guys from Valley of Fire told us about it and said they were going to put us at the first track. And I mean, listening to all the bands and acts on Valley of Fire, there's a really cool spread of
Hmm.
different genres, which is you know
Yeah,
really awesome. Like I don't know if that happens with record labels these days, but definitely just the breadth of different sounds is really cool. We definitely really appreciate being put on track one, and we've played a lot of shows with Corvus Lore, and those guys are awesome. So
yeah,
um, it's fun to see it come out, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, definitely just a fun little development for sure.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, yeah, Corvus Lore, old friends of the show, and Eric's great, and yeah, it's
Such
cool.
nice dudes. Yeah, great
Yeah,
band.
yeah, really good, man. Will we get another video from the band? Video's cool. I love the shirt Joe's got on, Bon Jovi shouldn't be famous shirt. classic.
Yeah.
I love it. Great, cool video. Will we get another video? I know, that's costly and it's time consuming and it's tedious and all that. Did you like doing the video? Or will we get another one?
Um, it was fun. It was a long day,
Yeah.
and it was a little tedious, but I guess it's how it goes.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely think so. I had a concept for Nowhere to Hide, but I think we might be looking towards the album to like see what song we're gonna put to video. But again, that's a question for the other fellows. Like
Okay.
we always want to discuss these things, but we'll
That's
see.
super great, man. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. It's a band. It's a group.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
There's
And
actually a song that is almost pretty much finished. That's about like the craziest dream I've ever had in my life.
really,
And so, yeah, it's kind of proggy. It's very very heavy, but I think that would be fun to make a video out of. But we'll
yeah,
see. I'll talk to Joe and Jake. We'll see.
yeah. You get your dream come to life. How cool would that be, man?
That would be insane
Wouldn't
if
that be
you
cool?
saw what I saw that night. It would be,
I imagine that, we've all had those dreams and or dreams
totally.
of some kind, and see them come to life with your music. That would be pretty cool, man. That
Yeah,
would be pretty cool.
and the song kicks ass. I won't lie to you. So
Awesome, man.
it'd be cool.
Any talk of a tour? I'm here in Chicago. I would love to see you guys. It would be cool to see, like you and Corvus Lore, so to speak.
Yeah,
And some of the people from Valley of Fire, maybe a Valley of Fire small tour of some of the bands. Has that been talked about? Would you like that? Give me a little bit of a rundown on getting out there and playing.
we definitely talked about it, and we've talked about it with the guys from Valley of Fire.
Right.
Speaking personally, and again, I'd have to talk to Joe and Jake, but um, I'm not necessarily like a very technologically adept person. But it would be cool to have like a little bit more digital traction before we do that kind of thing.
Right.
Um, I was in a metal band when I was 18, and we did a tour, and like it was fine. We were playing with local bands, so the turnout was cool, but like nobody knew who we were or anything.
Right.
And it was a very trying experience to go around the country and live in a van with 6 other dudes, and it was
Yeah.
it was a tour. So I'm totally open to it, but I would want to have a careful conversation and kind of have a plan. But I'm totally open to it. It would be fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. It would be fun to see you, man. Way cool. Yeah, let's get the word out about the band and get a nice big fan base and fill some theaters at least. And
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be
yeah,
fun.
super cool, man. Kyle, it's been great, man. Doors open anytime. Anything you got, man. Come on back and we'll chat, man.
Right on, Scott. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It's great to meet you, man. Good luck with everything. And where can everybody go to see updates? Or I know you got a website that seems kind of in the works. But what's the best place to see what you guys are up to?
Our music is on all the platforms, so you can go to Spotify and check us out.
Hmm.
And then Joe's really good about kind of keeping the heartbeat of Instagram alive. So yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, check us out on Spotify. Just search Velvet Grave and you'll find us.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one. And anytime you want to come back, please. Uh,
Thanks so much, Scott.
Great to
Oh,
see you, man. All right. Take care, Kyle.
have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.